is the BKFC show. Happy St. Patty's Day. I don't know. I'm Italian. What do we say? Aaron go bra, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Have a drink. The green stuff, man. Isn't that what they do?
Today's our 50th episode.
Today's 5-0, the big 5-0. All right.
Made it.
I love it. Well, thank you to the fans for that. 50. You keep track of all this stuff, Rob. You're like a stats guy.
49 more than I thought we'd make it to.
Yeah, right? Truly. Very truly. But it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you. Thank you to the fans for the support. We have a lot of great stuff coming up today on this St. Patrick's Day episode. Of course, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, BKFC Fight Night, New York. The second time we're in New York. We're going to recap that. A lot of drama, a lot of stuff coming out of that we're going to talk about. Also, have Connor Tierney, who, in my estimation, is solidified himself, or is starting to solidify himself as what could be a future superstar in BKFC. We're going to talk to him.
What a performance.
And coming up April 8th in Wichita, looking forward to Mike the Marine Richmond versus Dave the Caveman Rickels, who's never at a loss for words. Going to have Dave the Caveman Rickels on today as well. Looking forward to that. A lot of fun here today, and we're happy you're here with us. Like I said on the teaser on Instagram, I mean, maybe there'll be some fisticuffs if we drink too much green booze, you know? We'll see
That's
what
right, man. Whiskey, man.
We're a whiskey guy. We're not allowed to talk about this, are we?
I don't know.
We should be quiet.
We can.
Yeah, you two won't like it.
Yeah.
All right, so.
I got a funny story I'm going to say for the very end.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, with a tease like that, it better be funny.
Yeah, it's regarding whiskey and this random that I had a couple years ago.
Stay tuned for that.
Man.
The ratings are plummeting now, Rob. They don't want to hear about your sex life.
It's embarrassing.
All right, so a lot of stuff coming out of BKFC Fight Night 2 in New York. I'll say this right away before we get to our guests. That'll be in a couple minutes. What an amazing crowd. It's the second time we've been there to the Seneca Allegheny Casino and Resort, and I knew it last time, and it solidified it this time for me. That has been one of my favorite rooms to work in, one of my favorite crowds. They're so excited. They're ready to go. I think, honestly, it's because in that area of New York, they don't get the amount of entertainment other places get, so they're all coming out. They're ready to go. They were lined up. They were lined up before the prelims even started, all the way to the outside as it was snowing. A sold-out event in the snow in Salamanca.
It's awesome.
And these fans were pumped. If you looked at the prelims, I never agree with this. I say it all the time. A lot of times the prelims, people don't pay enough attention in boxing or whatever. They're hanging out with their friends. They're getting a couple drinks at the bar. BKFC, you have to pay attention to the prelims because it's always going to be great stuff. It's never a match that you're like, eh. So I'm glad that the fans in New York understood that to be there in their seats, because I mean it was essentially almost all the way full from the beginning to the end. There wasn't people kind of coming in later. Mm-hmm. I mean, and what a room. They were going nuts.
Yeah, it was electric.
They were so pumped, man. I mean, you watched, you saw it. What was your take on the event?
Oh, dude, it was great. It was great. Prelims, wow. You expect the prelims to be good, but I'm like, wow, this is some very competitive bouts. Big shout out to Nate Shook for that. I mean, he doesn't get enough credit. He gets all the hate when things don't go, the way they should. But, you got to praise him when he does an excellent job.
And that's most of the time. Yeah, I mean, these cards, I feel like we just should air this and repeat every time we come out after an event how amazing it was. And while we're being paid by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, I'm pretty honest. You're pretty honest.
They don't pay me shit, man.
They don't pay you?
You guys are getting paid?
No.
They give me a Happy Meal. I get a Happy Meal.
Yeah,
a little fries.
Have some fun, kid.
But, I think that if you look at the events, every time we come out of one, I mean, we'll be honest, if they're not good, I didn't see anything wrong with that event. I mean, of course, the main event was great for Jared Grant. We'll get into that a little bit, too. It was an interesting main event. Mm-hmm. Some people may have not liked that, but I think Jared fought an excellent fight, and I got a lot of respect for him getting in on Anthony, or at least trying to. The guy wasn't giving up. We'll talk about that as well after we talk to our guest, who's coming on in a couple minutes. So, Rob, as far as the show, you heard the crowd going nuts. Evan was there as well. I want to bring Evan into this. Is there any moments that really stood out for you during the show? Evan, you can answer this too, because you always have the good view with the camera up there. You're always putting in people's faces.
My favorite part of the...
Yeah, something stood out for you.
I like the weigh-ins with Jack Grady just screaming in the guy's face. Yeah. That was probably my highlight of the week.
Someone said that he's a human thumbnail machine.
Oh, he is.
Do they make memes out of... You see that thing I sent you yesterday, Rob? It was like, go play with... when your mom tells you to play with the neighbor's kid, and it's like the neighbor's kid. It's just it's him screaming.
And what a great nickname, Shady Grady.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw the guy from Mission Accomplished. They had him on, and they had this awesome graphic. It was like, hi, my name is, and one of those name badges, and they had him like screaming in the middle of it.
That's his thing, man. That's why I love it. I love this sport, man. You never know what you're going to get. You're like, here we go, another one of But it's him. That's who he is.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
Yeah.
And he got the W.
He sure did. And he let us all know he did. He was biting on his medal. He was going nuts, So congratulations to Shady Grady. Great nickname. Always look forward to see him fighting. What about you, Rob? Was there anything that really stood out to you for the event, the weigh-ins, as a whole?
As a whole. There was a lot of anticipation for Connor Tierney.
Oh, yeah.
We've had fighters come in. The anticipation was very high. The execution was very low. Or lackluster.
We've seen it, especially from UK fighters.
This guy delivered.
Sure did.
And so, he came in last minute with a change of opponent, a catch weight, right? Supposed to fight at 165.
And Jeremiah got the fight in such short notice. He couldn't drop all the weight.
Short notice. Wow. Very bright future for him indeed.
Well, the way Connor explained it to me when I was talking to him before the fight, he was saying that for Jeremiah, and he's right, it's like a Rocky story. This guy who wasn't supposed to be in the co-main gets in the co-main. He can make a name for himself. And, Connor had everything to lose. He's the guy making his debut, and now he could lose to Jeremiah Riggs. Like, he wasn't prepared, but he said, I just wanted to fight. I think he was so jonesing to get this fight under his belt in the U.S. and get over. And you know what? He was a pleasure to watch. He was slick. He was fun to watch. And, another guy, I mean, I'll compliment the main event, too. Like I said, Anthony Reddick, Jared Grant, all these fighters.
Very, very tough
short notice.
Fight. Listen, Jared Grant fighting a 6-foot fighter at 135. That's insane, man. Like, for you to even get in on that, the reach advantage is astronomical.
It definitely is. And I know they're showing some clips of the Tierney Riggs fight now. And, I mean, you can see. All respect to Riggs, too.
Yeah, right? He brought it, man.
He
grabbed the clinch, something we only do in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. We don't do it in any other, there's no other organization that does the clinch.
So I was with Riggs. I was walking through the casino. I was going to talk about this later when we recapped it, but I was walking through the casino with Riggs, not on purpose. He happened to be behind me, going to the event, and I feel these hands on my shoulders, and he kind of goes in my ears like, wait till you see what happens tonight. Wait till you see this fight tonight. I mean, he was game. He was ready. And what I didn't know about him, we actually did it in the spotlights. Alan Belcher, who I'll talk about later as well, was there cornering him and stuff. And Alan Belcher had told me that Riggs was a rodeo guy, so I brought that into his interview. This guy, he's done it all. Jeremiah Riggs, rodeo, pro wrestling with Tough Enough, Broken Skull Rants with Stone Cold. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Army Ranger.
That's the most important of everything.
Tough as nails, man.
So
nothing taken away from that guy.
He actually said that he took the fight partially, for the most part, because he wanted to test himself. He said, I always like to test myself. I'm in Bare Knuckle. He came off that great win in Jackson fairly recently, and now he's testing himself again. He said he wants to get as many Bare Knuckle fights under his belt as he can. I think this guy, even with the loss, is still going to be a star in the organization. I'm looking forward to seeing what else he has. I mean, he kept fighting. He kept going. And, if you look at Connor, that was a technical fight with Connor. Connor, like I said, was beautiful. It was beautiful the way he would just move out of stuff. His footwork was incredible. And we're going to have Connor on later. I'm sure he's going to tell you all about it. He's like Lorenzo Hunt. I don't have to tell you. He'll tell you. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And then, shifting back to the main event, if you look at Kid Gotti, Jared Grant, I have loved watching his climb. This guy is so talented. Another amazing boxer. I wouldn't have taken that fight, especially on short notice. I have to get him. Was it over a 10-inch reach? The guy was like Anthony Riggs, 6 foot something. I mean, it was what we knew it would be. Jared trying to get in. I've never seen Jared damaged that bad after a fight, but it's simply because Jared was trying to get in. And props to Anthony Reddick, too, because he also took the fight on short notice. And he knew, apparently he didn't hesitate from what Nate was telling me. He took it right away because he knew it could be a life changer, a game changer for his career in BKFC. But it wasn't, but it's a fight people are going to talk about. And BKFC, youngest of all time in history. There can only be one in history. The youngest champion ever for BKFC.
Congratulations. Is there an asterisk on it because he's the interim champion?
Well, there could be, but I'm
not taking anything away from his performance, which I thought was
it's marvelous.
Very, 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 very tough performance, and he was tested.
Yeah.
Right? He wasn't just thrown in with some guy that's just going to give him a W. He was tested, man. I wouldn't, if I was his manager or him, 6 foot plus.
I would advise against it.
I'd be like, we're going to hold off on that one.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
No.
He stepped up. He's like, I'll take the fight.
I don't know if that was the manager, that was Jared and his coach, Ryan. They seemed like they wanted it, man. They really wanted that fight.
Rewatch that. You have to rewatch it, and you have to slow down some aspects of it. It's like Mike Tyson. It's like, wow, I didn't know he dodged all those punches, got in, got his blows in. It was great. It was a great performance by both competitors.
Yeah, I mean, Jared would get in there and have his flurry of punches. As soon as he'd get inside, he would try to make it happen. Like I said, I've never seen Jared. I don't think he's ever gone to a decision, has he? No, no, he hasn't. I don't think he's ever going to a decision.
Good question.
I'm
I
sure
don't
he
know
has.
the answer.
Say it again.
I'm sure of it. Evan, if Evan's going to prove me wrong, Evan will. But he's never going to a decision.
No, that was his first fight that went to all 5.
That's what I mean. So he now has that under his belt. I think he even said that in an interview or on a social post that he's never been 5 rounds. Now he's experienced that. And I feel like as a fighter, of course you want to win, but to go those 5 rounds means something to him. Now he knows he's been in those deeper waters, and now he can survive. He might have thought it, but now he's sold it, and that's going to add to his heart in the next fight. So
there's only one opponent next for him, Johnny Bedford. That's it. And that's it.
I want to see that fight. I wanted to see that fight originally. So once he, all respect to Jared Grant. Like I said, I love those guys out of Slaughterhouse Gym. Ryan Perez is amazing at this industry, knowing what to do and how to coach them. And Jared's amazing at executing. And I do want to see, and we have to see. I'm not saying it's illegitimate. I mean, props to him for being champ. Or interim champ, but we have to see him defeat Johnny Bedford now to really call him the champ. I do agree with that. The other thing,
you have Bedford, or excuse me, you have Dat Nguyen in the mix to that.
I know, man.
It's like who fights next? It's dude that 3-headed monster.
It's
that's
gonna be
amazing.
fun to watch.
So
hey,
whoever
is Dat at 35 still, or is
that's a questionable thing. We never know with the guy. What's he feel today?
That might want to fight the heavyweight.
135 or 205.
That don't care. That's going after whoever.
But, Johnny Bedford, Dat, great fight. You want to see that. You want to see them run that back. Dat, Palomino's going to hate me for saying it, but Dat put on a performance. He was a challenger. Palomino wasn't in the best shape. He admitted to that. But the fact that Dat can step up in weight, be competitive,
there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Dat's talented. Dat be Dat. Mm-hmm. And aside from that, I don't know if they showed it on the broadcast because I was in the building, but like I said, there was like a major snowstorm going on as this sold out crowd attended. And I thought it was interesting that Jared Grant not only won the title, but I think he said it was the first time he's ever built a snowman in his entire life. So it's a picture. I would have put the title bet on the snowman if I was him. But he has a snowman picture on his social. I was like, we take that for granted living around here. I get tired of the snow. I get sick and tired of the damn snow. It hurts my back when it starts to snow. But he seemed to enjoy it, so good for him. And good for him for that big win. Again, we have some guests coming on. I don't know what time they're even scheduled for. Oh, we got Tierney? Tierney's in the green room, virtual green room. Awesome. Connor Tierney, let's bring him in, man. Let me get my notes together here. I want to talk to the Brumtown Bomber here. Hey, Connor, you there, buddy?
Yeah, man, I'm all here.
Look at you, man.
Sharp as a razor.
Wow, all dressed up. Look at you. It looks like you're going to your school picture day. You look wonderful.
Yeah, I've actually just finished work. Obviously, I'm a quantity surveyor, so I work in an office environment. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty because I took no damage the weekend.
You beat me to the punch, literally. I was going to say that next. Before we get into anything, you mentioned, I love when people get given nicknames. I know where you're from. I understand the origin of the nickname, but the Brumtown Bomber, you mentioned to me before that no one gave you that name. You, in typical Connor Tierney fashion, gave yourself that name, right?
Yeah, of course, because I'm a bomber and I'm from Birmingham. Slang for Birmingham is Brum and Brumtown, so it just made sense. Connor the Brumtown Bomber. It rhymes, it's marketable, and, it fits me now.
Well, the reason we had you on, because you had just been on, and we don't try to bring people back, but you're the first UK fighter, at least we don't bring them back right away, that we've seen perform the way you did. It was an impressive debut. You were an absolute joy to watch. Why are you different from most UK fighters we've seen?
No offense to the UK fighters, but me, I'm unique. You don't get many fighters that are like me, who can market themselves like I do. Be cocky, but be likeable at the same time, and be as technical and as skillful as I am. And I told you that on the show the last time we was on. I said I was skillful. I said I was technical. I said I was going to surprise a lot of people. And, the amount of stardom I've got from that win the weekend has been insane. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of the difference in me between the UK fighters is just that my amateur boxing pedigree, like my skill set is just completely different to a lot of fighters, let alone in the UK, across the world more.
So was this your first time ever in the USA? I think you told me it was. And if it was, what stood out for you? I don't just mean fighting. I mean, I like everything in the US. What really stood out to you? You can say anything you want. Don't worry about being rude. Americans can be rough sometimes.
Pancakes. They're amazing.
Pancakes, huh? You like the pancakes?
Honestly, like, I said, right, I said, win or lose, right? As long as I get some pancakes out there, those American pancakes with the syrup, that's all I'm bothered about. And then obviously I was sort of like on weight in a week, and I had some pancakes, and my coach sort of rang me because he never come with me. I had to have someone else do my corner, who's a friend, and he was like, "What are you eating that for?" I was like, "What?" It's like, "Stop! You're fighting. It'll slow you down." I was like, "But I've never had them before."
Just had try 'em, man. So, who was after your fight, after the masterful performance? Who was the first person you heard from via text message, call? Who'd you talk to first? After what was said?
It was my girlfriend. Yeah, I spoke to my girlfriend. Back home in the UK, there was hundreds of people that stayed up to watch the fight. It was all in pubs, bars, watching the fight till late. And there was a lot of massive positivity and feedback. And I think I shocked a lot of people because of the current situation with, the recent performances from some of the UK fighters, and I'm sort of falling short at the first hurdle. Because not only did I conquer the first hurdle, I'd done it so skillfully and I executed it with a knockout like that, probably one of the best. It's really shocked everyone now, and everyone's got confidence in me to go all the way and win the titles.
So I was next to Chris Lytle when that knockout happened. He was doing commentary, obviously, so I'm being quiet. And I was going to hand him the mic so he could do the post-fight. And it caught me off guard the way that knockout looked. It was beautiful, the knockout. I literally grabbed his arm as he's commentating. I was like, "Oh!" You probably heard me on the broadcast like an idiot. So I've seen that knockout from you. In the UK, I've seen your James Kennelly one. We've spoken about that before. I mean, I got to tell you, I like the Jeremiah Riggs one better. Where's that rate on you, yeah. Kennelly or Briggs? What meant more?
Do you know what? Like, I said this before. The Kennelly fight was different because there was a lot of beef there, and I don't really have we had a personal disliking for each other. But I think because of the occasion and the size of the event and the spectacular knockout, I've got to say Jeremiah Riggs now. That's my best knockout to date. That is.
It was absolutely beautiful. It was wonderful to watch, and we're going to get to some other stuff here in a minute, but first, I want to find out, for your footwork, absolutely amazing. I just want to find out, as far as Jeremiah Riggs, the guy kept coming. He had a lot of heart. I believe you said to, maybe it was the Fighting News, he was like a zombie. He just kept coming. When you were in there, was there any time when you felt like, okay, this guy's going to be trouble for me?
Yeah, he was catching me with some good shots, to be fair. There wasn't many. He caught me with that right hand that dropped me. If I'm being honest, when he dropped me, so it was a wake-up call. And then I knew I was in deep water then, because although Jeremiah was not a technical guy, he's a fighter. And I seen a post the other day on Facebook, and someone said, when he comes up against a true bare knuckle fighter, and I was like, okay, well, Jeremiah is more of a bare knuckle fighter than most fighters because of his background, his experience and the way he is. He's more fighter brawler style than anyone I could have fought. And I went in there and dismantled him. So there shouldn't be no questions about who I should deal with next. At the end of the day, the way I dealt with Jeremiah is exactly the same as how I'll deal with every other fighter I come against in this promotion.
So, the way you dealt with Jeremiah, it seems like you don't want to deal with Jim Allers again. You don't believe, from what I've heard you say, that he was even hurt. Like we said the other day, it seemed like he got a case of the Connors. You feel like he got a little nervous to fight you. But you said he's going, I guess you guys say the queue. He's going to the back of the queue. We say back of the line here. But then you brought up Elvin Brito, who's spoken very highly of most here in America, and you're looking for that title fight. But then I heard you say on the Fighting News, I believe it was as well, that you want title fights or big names like a Mike Perry. Because what was the quote? You want to knock his last brain cell out that he has, or something like that, you said?
Well, when I listen to him talk, he sounds really punch drunk, like he couldn't string a sentence together. So I said I'll punch the rest of his brain cells out for what is many by the look of it.
You have a way with words, Connor Tierney. Hey, man, I'm happy to have you on. My co-host, Rob. Rob, do you have anything for Connor? Because, I let him get back to his school picture day.
Masterclass performance, Connor. Great fight. Who would you like to see next? Last minute change. It's switched over to Jeremiah Riggs. Are you done with Allers? Who is your next ideal opponent? Yeah. Who would you like to fight next?
And I'll just say something right. Jim Allers never posted his injury. He never posted training videos. He didn't promote the fight. I was there training twice a day and working at the same time, right? Jim done an interview with OG and didn't even repost the interview. I think he knew from maybe a couple of weeks prior that he was going to pull out of this fight.
So you're saying Jim Allers had no intention of fighting whatsoever for this? He wasn't taking it serious? You knew he was going to pull out before he pulled out? Wow.
Yeah, he knew he was going to pull out. Listen, he knew he was going to pull out, right? There was nothing. There was no promotional videos. There was no training. He went to the Slaughterhouse boxing gym. He done not one session there. Spoke to his, someone coaching him. I think it's Javed's trainer. And even he said he hardly put any work in for it. I think he just knew deep down that it wasn't the fight for him. You know, it was a risky fight. He'd been knocked out by Palomino. You know, and I hit harder than Palomino, and I'm much bigger than Palomino, so it was a risky fight for Jim. And, you know, fair play, he's kept his health, because otherwise he would have got knocked out.
Hey, no knock on Jim, but I'll tell you, I'm not glad the fight fell off for you. Obviously, you're preparing for someone else, so that, in my estimation, that makes it a little harder for you. But the Jeremiah Riggs fight against you was absolutely phenomenal. It was, as a fan, I mean, it was so much fun to watch. You could hear the crowd going nuts. So, I mean, I think BKFC matchmaker Nate Shook needs a pat on the back for making that fight on short notice, and both of you Warriors need pats on the back for taking those fights on short notice. So thank you for that as a fan. Thank you.
No, I just want to say big respect to Jeremiah Riggs, because he brought hell for them 5 rounds. You know, he still brought trouble. As much as I look fancy and slick in there, when I'm actually in there individually working, you know, there was a lot for me to think about. It made me think about a lot of what I was doing. So, you know, big, you know, hats off to Jeremiah. You know, respect him, and I really do think he's got some big fights in him. Me too. You know, for BKFC as a promotion.
Me too. I can't wait to see him fight again.
And speaking of fighting again, we don't know. I'm not sure if you spoke to the matchmakers. What's next for your future? Has there been anything in discussion of when we're going to see you next in the ring?
No, I haven't actually spoke to Dave yet. Spoke with my manager, Mozzie. We've had to chat. Ideally now, like, I want to be looking at them bouts. Listen, I want to be the biggest name in the sport.
Of course.
I'm a rising star. I'll be a superstar in this game. You know, I'm marketable. I'm a character. And I'm also fantastic in the ring. You know, I've got excellent boxing skills, and I can bang. You know, you don't find many fighters like me who can be defensive and offensive at the same time in spectacular skill and be able to knock people out in that fashion. And, you know, that type of skill and, you know, charisma needs to be at the top of the game. So Alvin Brito was holding the bouts at 165. 175 is too big for me. I weighed in at 167.9 pounds, yeah. And I rehydrated to 169 a day after. I put a pound on, right? Jeremiah weighed in at 170, and I think he weighed in at 185. I'd probably give about 17 pounds around the night, and that's the truth. And I still got rid of him like the way I did, and I took the shots and got back up. So for me, 165, I'll be the biggest and the hardest hitting, the most skillful in the division. And Alvin Brito holds them belts, and me and Alvin will be a fantastic fight. Two of the best fighters with the IQ, the highest IQ in the game, going toe-to-toe. It's what the fans need. It's what the fans want. And it's a fight that I'll win.
So what I thought was interesting is after the fight, there was some people that have never really watched Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship before. They came to check it out. And someone came up to me and they said, that Jeremiah Riggs and that Connor Tierney, they thought that Jeremiah, like you said, bigger. He gave up, you know, the weight. They thought that he was going to destroy you because they didn't know. They've never watched. They didn't know about either of your careers. And they were like, they were blown away by your skill. I just wanted to let you know the fans were saying that as well. That's not just us. That's not just you. That was kind of in the building. I took the temperature. That's what people were saying. So yeah, thank you. I think I'll
say a big thank you. You know,
go ahead.
Yeah, it was just a big thank you to the fans. I've had like nearly 8,000 followers over the past week on Instagram. You know, followers from Argentina, Hawaii, Florida, Mexico, New York, you know, a lot of American fan base. I've had famous American football players follow me, people from American Forbes magazine, you know, messaging me, you know, and that just goes to show, you know, that with that skill and that performance, you know, to be attracting them type of people, there's only more to come, and the status will only get bigger.
Well, welcome to the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big time, man. Congratulations on your big win. I think the future's so bright you got to wear shades to borrow a song lyric. I'm looking forward to see where you head in the future. Thank you for taking the time to come on with us. And like you said, look at this man's face. He's got a little right there. Other than that, he's ready to go, man. Looks like you're a model. All right. Connor
Listen,
Tierney.
If there's any modeling companies out there that want me, you can come and get me.
He's going to look like this after every fight. That in his estimation, that's what's going to happen. Connor Tierney, the Brumtown Bomber. Thanks for making the time to come on, man. It's always good to talk to you.
Thank you, sir.
See ya. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Respect to both. See you later.
Hey, he's trying to give us respect, and they cut him off. I want to hear they said respect to both of you. I think he said, I'll take
a little bit of delay over the pond, as they say.
Oh, yeah, across the pond. It's a little bit of a delay. But, he's always good to talk to because, I wanted to find out after the win, coming from the UK, he's the most successful fighter we've seen. So I kind of wanted to find out where his head was at, and we did. So that's great.
Well, one of the things I forgot to ask, it just hit me right now, is watching his highlights with Jeremiah Riggs. Jeremiah went right for the clinch.
Yeah.
And I said it earlier. Overseas, they don't do that. Other promotions, they don't clinch. That's like an exclusive BKFC thing.
Yep.
And some of the pound-for-pound best, dare I say, in our organization used to clinch.
Well, he had
Palomino uses the clinch.
I know he does.
Masterfully.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing at it. He had said on an interview that I'd seen, I'm so sorry, don't remember who it was with, otherwise I'd cite the source, but he had said, yeah, I proved that I can do everything. Because I can do a little bit of everything, Connor Tierney was saying. He said, I showed that tonight, and I believe he did too. It was a fun fight.
Yeah,
I know it was great on the app, but to watch live. Oof.
He said he trained a lot for the clinch, actually.
Yeah, he was.
I seen him backstep, if you will. He shook it off and, very smart.
Do you think Burrito's next for him?
No.
Because Burrito said he's not impressed. Burrito's not impressed by his performance.
I'd
like to see like a Caleb Harris next.
Yeah, I think I'd be a good. I think
then see how he,
fight.
because Burrito went every fight with Caleb, he went all 5 rounds. So if he goes in and puts Caleb away early, then it kind of shows the level of competition. So I wouldn't be mad to see that fight, but I wouldn't be mad to see him go right to Burrito first either. Well, just coming from England, he had 6 fights already.
Champ over there,
and he was a champion. And I think the level of competition there was very high, and he definitely proved himself, I think. What about you guys? What do you think?
Well, listen,
the segue.
I want to hop into some analytics to his weight and what weight class, because I think that's very important. Because he brought up Palomino. He's the one who brought up Palomino. Said he hits harder than Palomino. I don't know about that.
Palomino hits pretty hard.
Yes, Palomino is a very hard striker. But Palomino's 155. He said he weighed in, the day after he's fully hydrated, 1.5 pounds.
Yeah.
I think 155 he could easily go down to 155. So I think that 155, 165, we have to find out where his comfort level is.
Look, Connor Tierney to me is like I talked about Julian Lane like this. From seeing him fight once, I want to see what comes next. I don't care who he fights. Same with Julian Lane. I know that I'm probably going to see an awesome fight. So I'll just sit back, let Nate Shook make the matches, work his magic, and I'll just enjoy every fight he's in. I mean, that's the best kind of fighter to me, where you don't care, as a fan, you want to see him win or lose, but you just want to see the fight. You know what I mean?
Yep.
To me, that's kind of where it's at. We have other people to talk to today. I'm not sure exactly what time is it right now. Okay, in a couple minutes we'll be talking to Dave the Caveman Rickels. We're looking forward to that. Do you want to continue, or do we have?
What is Dave Rickels is coming off an amazing fight.
Speaking of Julian Lane,
amazing fight with Julian Lane. I mean, what is that, fight of the year?
It's a great fight. The crowd was electric too.
Oh, I mean, you couldn't have asked for anything better. But now he's fighting Demolition Man, Mike Richman.
Who's been complimentary.
Coming off of what he did to Dakota Cochran.
Well, in his own hometown.
Wow.
Too. So now he's going to fight, of course, Caveman in his own hometown. Is this the thing with the Marine coming into hometowns, invading, and then, pardon the pun, I didn't mean to do that, but invading and then kind of taking. I really didn't mean to do that. That was kind of corny.
He said it, Mike Richman.
I didn't mean it like that.
Heyo.
But he's coming in, and he could be, taking people out in their hometowns. And when you do that, that's not just a decisive win. I mean, that's right, a really decisive win. So April 8th is going to be a great fight card coming up. BKFC 23, of course, that's in Wichita. We just talked about Dave the Caveman Rickels versus Mike the Marine Richman. I'm excited about that. That is going to be a middleweight title eliminator as well. There's 2 title eliminators in this card. So whoever wins that, I mean, assuming that Tiago's still the champ when they go to fight him, that could be the fight we're going to see.
Whoever's the champ, they're getting the next shot. They're in line for it.
And I'd like to see those fights. The second eliminator we have is Isaac Doolittle, who has been amazing as well. And by the way, Mike Richman, Dave Rickels, both undefeated. I should mention that as well. It's always fun to see that. Isaac Doolittle, Jared Warren. Of course, that's the light heavyweight title eliminator. So the winner of that, if Lorenzo Hunt's still the champion, will be facing Lorenzo Hunt. Jared Warren, I think it's interesting. I always say this. He's a fireman. He's a fireman for his real trade. Isaac Doolittle, a bare knuckle fighter. It's just interesting to me that he's like a chemist or something. He mixes chemicals. I don't know. I failed the periodic table.
He makes his own beard,
beard
soap
bomb.
or shampoo.
Yeah. He makes it in his bathtub or something. He was telling me one time.
Some Fight Club stuff right there.
I think
Make your own
that's pretty
soap.
cool. That's right. That's right. So that's going to be, I mean, both of those fights, the main and the co-main, I'm looking forward to both of them. And then you got Marciano Hernandez making his return. Now, if you don't know who he is, we've seen his brother Nico Hernandez fight for us. He's the former Olympian. Going against Chancey Wilson, which I still say to this day that Chancey, if he didn't throw up in the 4th round, didn't call the fight, Chancey had that fight. He had it. I know he did. But we saw Marciano Hernandez, who's coming from pro boxing, undefeated. He's also undefeated in BKFC. He had a win last time we were in Kansas. So now this time he's going to step back in the ring, and we're looking forward to see what he has this time. And, you know, he's a hometown favorite, so I'm looking forward to all that. Jake Lindsay's another guy who we've seen a great deal of. He's going to be taking on Derek Findlay. All fights I want to see. And then you look at the women. Oh, my gosh. The Rugged Beauty, Crystal Pitman versus Jessica Link. That fight, you know, the thing I'll say about Jessica Link's just very talented. Crystal Pitman talented in her own way too. And she can take abuse. I mean, she is a warrior. That woman has heart. I'm really, really looking forward to that fight. I mean, you can look at the rest of the card. We mentioned, we'll get back to this one here, but Chancey Wilson, we mentioned him. He'll be fighting Justin Martinez. He's a guy that I enjoy watching Chancey fight. He's a warrior, man. He came in ready last time. He's coming off a win last time we were in Kansas. LJ Hemrick versus Steve Morris. I mean, that's a fight that I would watch that fight. I watch any. That's what I mean about Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Any of these fights from the prelims on up, you know, are going to be good fights. Rob, is there anything you're really looking forward to on this card?
I'm actually aside from the main event, Jessica Link, Crystal Pitman, they're both coming off of losses, unfortunately. Now this is so you're coming off of a loss, your opponent's coming off of a loss. This is kind of a win, I need to win situation.
Yeah.
So I think it's, you know, the bar is going to be raised even higher, and the level of effort and energy, the desire to win, it might be fight of the night.
No, that catapults it. That catapults it sometimes. And you know, where you get that little, like you're saying, little extra push.
Fire to push a little bit harder.
We see that from the tryout fighters a lot of times. They want to make a statement when they come up to the main roster. So you're seeing that too. When people both come off a loss, they're going to fight even harder. And by the way, I feel bad. I don't normally do this, but I want to backtrack.
Okay.
We didn't even congratulate Connor Tierney for knockout of the night. We said it was a great knockout, but if you even heard, that was the knockout of the night. And it's the reason I thought of that, because the ladies' fight was the fight of the night on our last show. So, ladies, I always say it's an amazing thing to watch. The guys fight. You think you'd be tuning in for guys to fight? At least that's how it used to be. Now a lot of people want these women fights, and I understand why. I mean, they fight with this passion.
I'm one of them. Can we
great.
have please more? Please. So if you are a female fighter out there and you want to get on BKFC, contact Nate Shook directly. You can find him on Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't know if he's on Twitter or not, or just, you know, reach out to the organization.
Grab him at a show if you're at a show live. He loves that, and kind of just start talking to him now coming on.
For me personally, and for the rest of the fans, I think I would love to see a deeper pool, more female fights on the cards. I know we're limited with the amount of fighters. You know, the sport is growing. But please submit those applications. Show up to the tryouts.
Yeah, man.
Show them what you got.
We have tryouts. What's today? It's coming up. Tryouts coming up.
It is.
I don't know if we have a slate for the tryouts that are coming up. I don't want to say the wrong date. I want to say it's, if I can remember, March 26th. Is that correct? For the tryouts?
Yeah, I'm liking that.
That sounds good to you?
Next Saturday.
It's coming. Hold on.
That sounds good. You guys didn't tell me this. Now I got to find it.
No, it's...
So
I'm looking at the graphic. March 26th in Slidell, Louisiana.
And our boy,
good old Slidell.
Scott O'Shaughnessy's going to be there. And like we've said, this guy, if you're going to, the best part is, I say this, I feel like till I'm blue in the face, but if you go to the tryouts, maybe you get signed. If you don't get signed, at least you can kind of see what it's all about. And then you have the experience of talking to a guy that's been in these wars, that's been in these fights, and maybe picking his brain. So if you don't get picked, the next time you come back, maybe from what he told you can kind of apply that. Or maybe even in any kind of fight you can apply it. The guy's been in there, and it's almost like a little bit of a seminar, too. He's going to be able to help you. So, of course, you can see it up there on the screen where you can go, bkfc.com/tryouts in Louisiana.
Can you name all the people on the last card who were from the tryouts?
Can you?
I don't know. Let's start.
Like I turn that? My brain's numb, dude. I have allergies.
Larry Navarro.
Yeah. He was
won with some disgusting body shots. Oof. Looked great. Devin Gibson. The one and only Zach Kalmus.
Yeah, Zach Kalmus. What about the Irishman? Was the Irishman from tryouts?
He was.
Kyle McElroy was also. Who else?
I want to say Gibson's great because you can never, if you're just like a fan that's just tuning in, you always know who he is. Even if you don't pay attention to what corner he's in because he has it tattooed across his back, you can't miss it, dude.
Bro, he's awesome. He comes out with the Canadian flag headband.
Yeah.
I love that. He reminds me of GSP. Remember GSP walk out with the headband and his in the gi? Fucking awesome, man.
It is. It's amazing. Keep going. Anyone else you can think of?
I'd have to look at a...
Well, I mean, we say it all the time, but you can look at guys that have climbed up the card, some champions now. Lorenzo Hunt came from Tryouts. He's a guy that trumpets Tryouts all the time, how important they are. He's a guy we found at Tryouts. Sam Shoemaker, we talk about him. You know, what's the famous story? I'm not going to repeat it. You already know. Put it in the comments if you know what he did at Tryouts. By the way, at the ECW Arena in Philly, that's where there's Tryouts.
I don't know if there's anybody else on here from the... I think that everybody we named was it.
There you go. But that's the point. And you get on the cards. It's not like we just go, come to Tryouts, and then we never do anything with it. We want to see. And we get great attendance at these Tryouts. And you can watch them, by the way, on the app. BKFC.com to grab the app. It's all up there from the fights to the tryouts. You can kind of see what you're going to be preparing for so you come ready. I think that's important because we don't just look at your fighting skills. We look at your personality. We look at your, the punch meter, how hard you can punch. So you can come ready knowing what they're going to be looking for, and you can then execute and hopefully get a contract with BKFC. I'm looking forward to see what they come up with from each tryout. I'm always looking at that. I know you are as well to see who the next up-and-coming fighters are. So make sure you get involved with that. BKFC.com/tryouts. And while you're there, if you didn't subscribe to the app yet, you're a moron. For $4.99 a month, don't be a moron. Subscribe to the app. The best value in combat sports. Am I wrong? I'm just being honest.
And the app's about to get a whole lot better.
Yeah, I know. Are we allowed to talk about that?
We talked about it a couple shows ago.
Oh, we did?
We said it's coming. It's coming soon.
Wait, yeah, well, we've been saying that for how long, but we really mean it this time.
I saw how it looked yesterday.
You saw
Yeah?
it?
Yeah,
What'd you
they're
think?
going to launch the beta, I think, next week.
Ooh.
So, like, some people may be able to download it.
Ooh.
Little sneak peek.
Okay.
But and you're encouraged to download it, and if anything looks bad, report it.
Oh yeah.
Where was your brain at when you saw it, Evan? What did you see? Was there anything you really liked on it?
It's cool because it's not just like video. You can let me put myself in. There's
There he is.
there's like news coming. You know what I mean? There's whole different sections now. There's like fighter profiles and stats and all that. So it's more than just a video. Just a place to watch videos. It's like the BKFC universe is all. It's your one-stop shop for everything.
Metaverse.
I love living in the I love living in the BKFC universe.
Yeah, it's a lot more user-friendly for sure.
One thing I have heard about this app, without giving too much away, is that some of the top organizations in sports, in entertainment, they use this app. They use the same, not the same app, but they use
it's the same.
idea.
Yeah, it's the same vendor. It's the same back-end look as some of the big boys have.
I don't want to say too much because I don't know a ton. I just know what I've heard, and everything I've heard, I've gotten more excited about being a BKFC fan because there's going to be so much more we can do. You can do. It's going to be fun.
And the big question is, will it crash during a live event?
No.
Well, if we do, don't blame me.
And I think
no, it's not gonna though.
No, I don't think it will. This new app's a lot more.
But to be fair, even the big boys have issues. Like I remember watching McGregor Poirier. When was that last January?
Yeah.
And that crap. And they got ripped on social. It happened.
Yeah.
It's just again, it's everybody trying to go in at once.
I would
That's
say-
why you should always sign up a few days in advance. Don't wait until a minute before the main card starts.
Plugging it. I love it.
Because everybody's trying to get through the little hole at once.
Yeah, and you don't want to.
That's what she said.
Robert, kids show.
Rob, I'm thinking that. I didn't say it. What is the matter with you, Rob? I was really so the thing is though with this new app that I'm looking at is it's going to be user friendly. It seems like it's going to be exciting for what the fans can do to it.
Yeah.
And the big question you're asking is different than my big question. My main concern about the new app is, will you still be carrying the BKFC show? I mean, we need this. We have to feed our families. Are they going to carry it still?
They are.
Oh.
And a variety of other content.
Good.
Flawless pay-per-view experience. It's coming. It's coming. I'm going to leave it with that.
So I'm
Yeah,
sure they're
it looks
excited in
great.
the chat about the new app. And, while we have a moment here, I want to shout someone out. So we were talking about the fans at BKFC Fight Night New York, too, how great they were. Bare Knuckle fans in general. Evan had mentioned this. This podcast thing must be working, this show, because I got stopped in the casino a bunch of times. People asked for pictures. I'm like,
Security?
with me? No, it was security. I did get yelled at one time. I was filming to show my kid the lights. He's like, you can't film in here.
Yeah, they don't like that.
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't card counting. I don't know how to do all that stuff.
I wish I got the guy's name who stopped me.
I wish I did,
well,
too.
he was like, "Hey, you're from the podcast." I was like, "Oh my god!" But then the fighter was because I was standing in the walkout area, so the walkout came, so I didn't
So
get
you had to move, get
say
skedaddle.
hello.
Well, I can
so
say-
if you're watching, whoever I saw,
You're awesome.
that got me through the night, man. Thanks.
That makes you feel good. There was a group
It
of
did feel real good.
guys from Rochester that right in their demographic too. They loved it. They couldn't get enough of it. They thought it was cool that, and I think this is cool about BKFC too. I do it all the time. I hang out with the fans.
Yeah.
Like I go and just hang out in the crowd, talk to them. They try to buy me a beer. I said I'm working. I can't do that. Afterwards we'll get sloshed. I never do. But And there was another guy that took, he's a podcast listener, watcher all the time. He said he comments in the comment section. He had some long name. He took a picture with me. I can't remember what the name was. It was a long handle that he has on YouTube. So he said he's going to be watching. If you're watching, I told you I'm not going to remember your name, so just shout out and thank you. Thank you to everybody. I love the fans. I love that I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm just going with my buddies to watch a fight, and I love kind of interacting with people. So that's right up my alley, man. Getting those pictures and stuff.
What I enjoyed about the previous event down in Hollywood, Florida, was seeing Mike Perry with a giant box of pizza after the event, and a bunch of people came up. We're all having a couple of drinks, just kind of celebrating a great event. Just seeing him just being a normal person, interacting with fans.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, awesome.
You don't get that in Major League Baseball. You don't get that in boxing. You don't get that in football. You don't get that anywhere. I don't think UFC is like that.
Yeah, I think that's why some of the fighters, some of the personalities actually resonate very well with the fans, because they're just like them.
Yeah.
And they don't think they're better than them. And big shout out to a lot of all the BKFC fighters, man. That they're actually, let me pause on that. All of them except for one ex BKFC fighter. That I was going through my notes, and I'm like, man, I thought I forgot something, and someone reminded me.
What?
An issue we had with an ex-UFC fighter who was just a BKFC fighter who was just arrested.
Are you going to say their name? Oh, I don't. Oh, why are you bringing this up if you're going to beat around the bush, Rob?
I'm
not going to help you.
I don't think it's a funny matter.
So you got. If you brought it up, now we have to talk about it.
Yeah. So we got some messages. A couple of our interns hit me up asking, how do we respond to this? And this person was let go from the organization immediately. Charges were filed against an ex-BKFC fighter for, I believe it was child pornography, pedophilia.
Disgusting.
And I'm like, we just talked about this, literally a week prior. We just talked about how this happened to Kane going after someone who's denied bail.
Yep.
And then this person now has a bail set and is available to go out on bail. Please, senators, policymakers, lawmakers, change the shit. Please fix the system. When I say fix the system, please look after the ones that cannot look after for themselves.
Agree.
Our youngest of population, children, it's absurd.
Well, the thing is, I think that this showed that anyone can. You don't know who they really are. I mean, only you inside your head and your heart know who the real person is. So, I mean, I hate to be untrustworthy with people, but when you have kids, you got to be careful, because anyone in the world could be like that. And it really gets my goat. It makes me sick. It disgusts me that I shook this man's hand before, as one of our fighters. But I do think we did the right thing. We moved quickly. We released him, and now the court of law is going to take care of it. I mean, and then I hope the kids that were abused are okay, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The ripple effect, that's going to affect them, their kids. That's horrible.
Sure. And everybody is innocent until proven guilty 100%. You got to respect that. I respect it, and the integrity in the process moving forward. Again, it's what's reported, it's what's out there, and it needs to be addressed. There's nothing to hide under. It's
disgusting. It's unsettling, and it's a real letdown when you've spoken to somebody before, and then you hear that. Unsettling is what I say. And like I said, you feel almost like your child let you, not the kids that got abused, but someone let you down like that. It's a really strange feeling that I haven't ever had in my life. It's terrible.
Yeah. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
If the lawmakers, policymakers don't change things, you're going to see more of the Cain Velasquez's out here in the world, because they're there.
And kudos to Dave Feldman and the organization for working so quickly to have that man released. All right. So we have Dave the Caveman Rickels. I believe he's in the virtual green room. Let's see if we can get him on. Rob, I know you have a lot of great questions for Dave, as do I. Oh, there he is. Caveman. There he is. What's up, dude?
What up?
So this is the guy who comes off a big win from Julian Lane. What an awesome fight. And I think it was the end of that fight, I believe. You had the best post-fight interview. It was simple. You should come out with a T-shirt. You said you can't wait to put more bones to domes. And now you're going to be doing that, coming up with Marine Mike Richmond. 2 undefeated guys going at it. I mean, welcome to the show. There's so much to unpack here. You just really seem to enjoy bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah, man, it's really a unique niche that fits me very well.
So you seem to like it, and you had the great fight with Julian Lane, which it was just incredible to watch. So when you first came into this organization, of course you're going to go after a title, but what's the reason you came to BKFC? Was it to go after the middleweight gold? Because you're going to be in a title eliminator coming up.
I mean, I'll be honest, like I came up to Bare Knuckle with the idea of doing it once and calling it good. I just wanted to see if I was tough enough to do the shit. And man, turns out I am. And I feel like I'm one of the best in the world, no doubt.
And Dave, you know, you're definitely tough enough to do this sport. We've seen it. Chad Mendez saying, wow, how exciting it was. You're now 2 fights into it. What is the difference, the positive difference that you see from going into mixed martial arts competitive competition to straight up no glove boxing?
The big thing for me, man, it allows me to, really focus on, one aspect of training. You know what I mean? I don't have to do wrestling where most fighters know that's where they get hurt in training, right? Mm-hmm. Wrestling and jiu-jitsu. So I get to focus on my boxing. I do my hard sparring. And man, it's an easier camp, to be honest. It's an easier camp and a harder fight.
So last time we were in Wichita, I always pay attention to the crowd. I don't know if you even hear them when you're fighting. You might be in your zone, but they were one of the best crowds we had. I said New York was really good, but Wichita was loud. They came to watch a fight. A lot of them came to watch you because you're a hometown superstar to them. As you perform in front of your hometown, you fight in front of your hometown. Does that enter your mind like you don't want to let them down, or you're trying to give them a show? Does it make you more nervous? I mean, you're a professional fighter. I just want to know where your mind's at with that.
I prefer to be acknowledged as King of Kansas.
King Caveman, baby.
Yeah. No, man, I built a really good fan base here, man. And, a lot of fighters have to come out of American Top Team or, one of those other super gyms. And, I'm one of the guys who just did it right here from Wichita.
Yeah, we're watching you do it. It's fun to watch. Now, I've noticed your opponent, Mike Richmond, he's on a tear as well. He's had a lot to say about a lot of people, like Elvin Brito. He was talking about him recently. He said Elvin Brito's not impressive to him. I just wonder, what do you think he thinks of you? Have you ever heard him talk about you? What's his thoughts on you, Caveman?
Well, he's shown me a lot of respect, man. I will say this. I think he is sleeping on me for this bout, and that's a really big mistake. It's hard not to go the way that he's gone in and kind of, toyed with guys essentially in his last few fights. It's hard not to have that confidence, and hubris is the way I feel it. He's a little too confident in his hands.
Well, what makes you confident that you'll beat Mike Richmond?
I've entered another after the fight with Julian Lane, and man, just the way I feel when I'm out there doing the bare knuckle, the way training is going, the way my life is going, I feel unbeatable, man. I mean, I got everything. Everything is great for Dave the Caveman Rickels. And, when you have a positive life outside of the ring, as well as the positive training camp, everything's just going good. I mean, that shit translates.
Of course it does. Now, if it's going so well and you feel like you're going to bring that into the squared circle, we could see that happening. So prediction-wise, when you think about this fight with Mike Richmond, how do you predict it to go? That's a question a lot of people ask you. You just don't even know yet. Just go the way it goes.
I'm really good about adapting when I'm in there, but I'm I said it to Julian Lane on the last one. And Julian said he's going to knock me out in round one, and that didn't happen, obviously. So, I hope that he's actually preparing for, deep water, man, because that's where I'm going to drag him, and that's where I'm going to beat him.
Yeah, I think the fans want to see that deep water beating between you two. That's why BKFC is so awesome. It's not boxing. It's fighting, and it's going to be a fight between you two. I love that. Now, the other thing I love about watching you're a performer, not just a fighter. Your walkouts are top notch. You have the best walkouts, right? I love watching them. So can we expect another awesome walkout? Can you kind of tell us what it might look like this time? Have you started planning that yet?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just always trying to show out and have – the truth is, like, people want to be entertained from the second they see you. into the screen. You know what I mean? So I just do my best to bring the whole package. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I've built such a good fan base and love, especially here in the city, man. You know, most of my dope walkouts have always been right here at home. So you can expect another one.
He's not going to tell us what it's going to be. Really quickly, I want to talk about, I think it was your last time when you fought. You tried to do the Squid Games thing. And I remember you telling me a story. This is interesting to me, that it didn't come in. You ordered it from Amazon or something and it didn't come in. So my man, Caveman, went and he made his own, everything you saw him wearing. I think it was the Julian Lane fight.
That's awesome.
He created that. So he's getting ready for a fight. He's making masks for Squid Game. I mean, you could have a Hollywood career in like set design too and like costumes as well.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to like the cosplay and like just dressing up for Halloween and all sorts of shit. Like I really like to go all out. So I was like, fuck it, I'll make it. You know what I mean? I know I can do it. So I did, and it looked good.
It looked awesome.
It looked pretty good.
It looked great. So if you're taking me down another road, if you're a nerd for Halloween and stuff, I am as well. What was your best Halloween outfit you can remember having? I'm just curious because you're really good at dressing up for these walkouts.
Ash from Evil Dead. I got the chainsaw on my arm and all that shit, dude. It was awesome.
I love it. We got to see pictures of that. Caveman, so great to talk to you. Rob, do you have anything for Caveman?
Yeah, this is a number one contender, eliminator. Does that add any additional pressure on you? Or do you think Mike Richman's going to add more to his training regimen, knowing that the winner of this fight is getting a shot at the championship?
Not really, man. He knows I'm not a joke. And I feel the same about him. So, you know, I've been busting my ass getting ready for this fight. You know, truthfully, I think we are the title fight, bro. I really do, man. I think we're the two baddest in the division, and we're about to find out who the next champ is.
That's why I think the fans are so excited about this fight. That's why I'm excited about it, because you're two of the baddest guys in the division. And when I saw it announced, I was kind of scrolling my phone because they don't tell me anything because I'll just blow it out of the podcast. They know I got a big mouth. But when I saw it announced, I literally came out of my chair. I was so excited for this fight. I know Rob is as well. Mm-hmm. Rob, that's all I have for the Caveman. I mean, are you good?
Yeah, that's all. We appreciate your time very much.
Hey, man, looking forward to it. BKFC.com. Yeah. Grab that app. $4.99 a month to see this guy, the Caveman, and the Marine Mike Richman go to war. $4.99? Are you kidding me? He's scaring me now. That's too big. All right, listen. Caveman, go get ready. Go do your training. Go plan your walkout. We're excited to see you in Wichita on April 8th. BKFC.com to grab that app. Honk your horn for us before you go.
Cool.
Honk your horn.
What's up?
Honk your horn.
Honk my horn?
Yeah, it's honk. Yeah, all right. All right, now everybody's looking up. Caveman, you're awesome.
Thanks.
Have a great day, buddy. Thank you for coming on.
Boys. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you. I don't know. He's sitting in the car. You're welcome. They all are. I notice. I don't know if this is everywhere with sports, but whenever I interview a fighter, I feel like 99% of the time they're in their car. So I'm going to start asking them to honk their horn.
No one can bother them. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Hey, man, after talking to Caveman, I'm even more excited for the fight. That's a guy that he doesn't even have to try to build the fight. The fight's already built to me. I mean, there doesn't need to be bad blood here.
He brings it every fight. You know what to expect with him. You know what to expect with Mike Richman. And I don't have it in front of me, man. I've seen the Mike Richman memes that are out there now, where they're actually similar to like the Chuck Norris.
Yeah, right.
like Mike Richman's stare can burn through like a wall.
He's like the most interesting man in the world. Stuff too.
Yeah.
2-0 Rickels, from my estimation, what I can see record versus 3-0 Mike Richman. So not just a title eliminator, but also one of these guys is going to lose their undefeated streak or their winning streak. Mm. So that's always a nice little cherry on top when you're watching a fight like that too. I'm very, very excited for the fight. Again, BKFC.com. Grab your app, $4.99 a month.
Put you on the spot. Who do you have?
I don't have anybody yet. I have to look. I have to analyze the training. I have to see as we get closer how it's going. I have to look into both men's eyes when I'm interviewing them. Sometimes the eyes are the window to the soul. And when I do these interviews, not these ones, the ones for the spotlight you see on the broadcast, like I can sometimes look into their eyes really and tell. I tell you, we were talking about Chancey Wilson versus Nico Hernandez earlier. When I interviewed Chancey, I was like, this guy's got a really good shot at winning. I just felt it coming off him. I felt the confidence, but it wasn't false confidence. A lot more coming up here on the show. I think we have a lot more. Who the heck knows? But I do know this. We're going to throw it to commercial quickly. Rob, you want to do it with me? We haven't done this together in a long time. 1, 2, 3, go. Welcome to the world of Bare Knuckle TV. Watch every live Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship pay-per-view event for only $4.99 per month. Enjoy our all-new library of content,
including unlimited access to the full library of BKFC pay-per-views, behind-the-scenes access, exclusive BKFC original series, and additional live bare-knuckle fights from around the globe. You can access it anywhere you want, anytime you want, instantly on most streaming devices. It's available right now on Bare Knuckle TV. Over 1,000 hours of on-demand content, uncut and uncensored. All here anytime you want, anywhere you want, for only $4.99 a month. Subscribe now exclusively at BKFC.com.
Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship returns to Wichita, Kansas on Friday, April 8th with 2 title eliminators. In the main event, Mike the Marine Richmond knuckles up with Dave the Caveman Rickels, both men chasing middleweight gold. In the co-main event, it's a light heavyweight title eliminator as Isaac Doolittle throws hands with Jared Warren. Plus the return of undefeated pro boxer Marciano Hernandez. BKFC 23 on the Bare Knuckle TV app. Download it at BKFC.com.
I think I'm live by myself.
Sosha had to whiz. We're live.
Hey, go have a seat, man.
I never ever take off during a show. Too much of this TL, baby.
Oh, man, that's great. How was it?
I washed my
Everything
hands.
come
They're
out
still
okay?
wet, Phil.
So.
What's up, buddy? I'm sorry about that, fans. Whew, when you gotta go, you gotta
All
go.
right, well, I really can't address what just came in through my inbox until we address.
What happened? What came in?
Well, let me hold on to this.
Oh, come
I'm
on. He's gonna
put this
tease
down.
us. Good broadcaster.
Yeah, and I think up next on our notes is
You tell me.
the shocking news was shocked the bare knuckle world of combat sports. Tony Lopez defeats Josh Burns.
Shocked me.
Tony
Did.
Lopez was 0-3-1 going into that bout in bare knuckle.
Tony's a tough guy, though. He is tough.
Oh, he's tough as
he's one of those guys I
nails.
just like watching fight because he's so tough.
tough
He's no
as nails.
slouch.
So very, very shocking. Everyone thought Burns, who was the main event to this card initially, change of opponent. I think there was another change of
There was two
opponent.
changes,
Yeah,
yeah.
it sucks. Josh Burns, great guy.
Yeah, wonderful.
Tony Lopez, I guess,
You
takes
sound
the
like
fight
me.
on.
Great guy.
Yeah,
Great
no,
guy.
he is.
Everyone's a
awesome.
great guy.
Yeah, everyone's a great.
Josh is awesome, though. I love the hammer. Nice guy.
He is. And wow. So apparently Josh Burns had messaged a few people stating that he broke his hand.
No, he had. I saw that post. So he broke his hand. I saw it on Instagram. I think he posted his picture. I think it was his. I think it was his right hand. The first round, he broke it. I want to say that did they put a pin or something in there, or just broke. I don't remember. But I know I saw it. And yeah, I mean, if you break your right hand and you're right-handed in the beginning of the fight, I mean, and Tony's been enough worse to exploit that and see it as well. So you're gonna lose. I mean, I think Josh even understood that, as did I.
I don't think people give Tony enough credit.
No, Tony's tough.
No.
Tony went 10 rounds with Joey Beltran.
His second fight, I had him winning that bout.
Yeah.
I had him
when
winning
they
that
fought
bout.
in,
Yes.
in
Mexico, I
Cancun.
believe, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I had him winning that bout. It wasn't like their first. It wasn't like a bloodbath or anything. It was a very calculated approach by Tony Lopez that I think threw Joey Beltran off. And again, I gave him the nod. I had one more round, but it was close. It was a very close bout.
When Tony's like 48.
Is he really 48?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, he's
like the Tom Brady of
that
fighting.
guy. He's just. I remember when he fought. Remember when he fought Alan Belcher for us? Neither one knew each other's name. They just wanted to fight. I was like, that's the kind of fighter I like. They just want to go. They just want to go. So no, I mean, look, if you lose your tools in the beginning of a fight, I thought Josh Burns was just going to run. Honestly, I don't want to say run through Tony because Tony's tough, but I thought
Nobody runs through Tony.
No, that's
in bare knuckle anyway. It's just he's so durable.
But I think a lot of people thought Josh was going to come in and he would be awarded. He'd be the winner. I mean, I thought that. Yeah. I love watching Tony fight, but I thought that. I thought that he was going to beat Godbeer. I thought that he was going to beat. I forget who the second one was, and they put against it. But I really did believe that.
Voof, or I don't know how to say his name.
Wolf.
I probably butchered that.
Yeah, that's all right. You're usually right with everything.
I'm going to say
what do you got on your phone,
false.
dude?
No, I'm not going to report on this because I'm kind of looking at it, and I don't want to put out this misinformation.
What do you got, Rob?
So some people are questioning in a group online, bare knuckle group, Only Hands. Did Josh Burns actually break his hand, or did he
posted the picture?
Did he steal a photo from the internet? To me, it looks like two different photos.
Do we have the
100%
photos?
looks like two different
Do
photos.
we have the photos or no? You have them on your phone.
I wouldn't say that he stole
Let me see.
a X-ray. I'm not going to go down that road because I don't that. At this point, I don't have enough information to even say that that's
Who's
We
reporting
don't
this?
want to ruffle any feathers.
credible
Who's-
news, though.
Is this is on the Only Hands group reporting this? Which,
Yeah.
by the way, just the other day, here's
So
how dumb
I'm
I
gonna go ahead
am.
and
Here's how
delete
dumb
that.
I am.
Stay
I'm
out
so
of my
stupid
inbox.
that the other day, the Only Hands group, I was looking at it, because again, I read everything. I just don't always comment. But the Only Hands thing, I'm so dumb that just the other day I went, oh, that's a playoff Only Fans. I'm such a, I never really thought about it. And I'm ashamed to even admit that.
You have
Anyway.
quite a few subscriptions, though, don't you, Socha? Pop into your head.
I got all kinds. You want to get into them?
Yes.
LL Cool J, man. Ladies love Cool James.
What?
I don't know what that was.
LL Cool J. That's what it stands for.
No, I know what it stands for, but why are we saying
Y'all
that?
talking about OnlyFans.
Oh, okay. Mama said no.
All right, you guys can continue your OnlyFans conversation.
Anyway, you know, I know in the format, I want to bring this up. It's not BKFC related, but you had talked about this, and I'm going to kind of segue into Bare Knuckle and BKFC. Last week, or this week, actually it was this week, we lost, what's today, Thursday? Yeah, we lost Scott Hall. If you don't know who Scott Hall is, he was Razor Ramon, a big part of my childhood. He's a guy that, whether you like pro wrestling or not, he kind of innovated. As a wrestling fan watching, he changed the game by a lot of stuff that he did, ladder matches, you know, all that stuff. But he also changed the game for the wrestlers behind the scenes by getting more money. He changed a lot in the industry. 63 years old. He went in for a broken hip. He had a clot or something and 3 heart attacks. They had to take him off life support. So it was a big loss in the wrestling community. For myself as well, Scott had given me some great advice before, and I just think he's a nice guy. Tortured by demons his whole life, you know, all the drugs, the alcoholism. He finally kind of started to beat that. And now, you know, unfortunately passes away. It's a sad moment for wrestling fans. I know you were a fan as well growing up.
I was, very much so. And just looking at some of the posts that people put
Brings
out
back
there.
memories.
Not only his in-ring character, but his character outside of the ring. He was on like the Jerry Springer show.
You know he got in trouble for that, the Jerry Springer show?
Did he?
He got in trouble because he gave his, he didn't tell anybody. He gave his Intercontinental title belt to a kid that had some kind of problem. I don't know if it was a deadly problem or what it was, some kind of Make-A-Wish stuff. And he gave it away and he said, oh, you got to get me a new belt. They didn't have a new belt. That was back when they didn't have a bunch of belts. And also, the character Razor Ramon was brought to WWE by Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect.
Yep.
And the reason why it did so well is Scott was like a cowboy before that and stuff. And he used to do the Scarface, the Tony Montana, like accent. They thought it was so great. So he did that for Vince McMahon. For some reason, I guess Vince is so in the wrestling universe, he'd never seen that movie, Scarface. This is brilliant, he said. We got to get this guy on. So he'd never seen Scarface, Chico.
Wow.
I was going to do the toothpick behind my ear, but I had this on in tribute. I'm going to throw toothpicks in people's faces for the rest of the week.
Yeah, and one of the things that I saw a couple of people talking about is this is the pre, you know, they're on the road 360 days a year.
It's a lot, man. Some of those guys don't go home for 80 days straight back then. I mean, it was a lot.
And, you know, you can call it fake, you can call it whatever you want. You throw your body around, you break wrists, you know, you fracture your head, you get injured, and you have to work the next day.
I fractured my head.
Right? So you're working injured all the time.
All the time.
So
And
how do you do that?
Back then, drugs.
Exactly.
Back then, you'd lose your spot, you'd lose your pay because they were. That's what Scott Hall changed. They were not on guaranteed contracts, and now if you're in a guaranteed contract, you can sit out if you're hurt. You couldn't do that before. You'd lose money, you'd lose your spot. As simple as that. So I just want to throw, you know, from the wrestling industry, a thank you to Scott Hall, and you know, hopefully keep him and his family and friends in your prayers. Big loss for the wrestling community. A big gain for the wrestling community, in my estimation. AEW. We've seen the UFC guys on there. We've seen Dan Lambert on there. We've seen our very own Paige Van Zandt on there. Well, apparently Paige Van Zandt signed a contract, it looks like, with AEW to do some wrestling, and I do think that Paige Van Zandt is going to do very well.
AEW are the smartest people in the room. I think I said something to you probably 2 or 3 months ago. I have not watched wrestling. I'm a combat sporting fan. I was a wrestling fan. I got brought back into it. I'm like, man, these guys are doing some exciting stuff. Smaller promotion. I'm like, this looks great.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, Paige Van Zandt's on there? I'm like,
Wearing a bare knuckle
wow.
fighting championship t-shirt too one time, yeah.
Yeah, and so she's still signed. So people understand she's still signed with BKFC.
Yes.
She's still fighting.
We're allowing this.
Okay. And she's going to be with AEW.
Yeah, so I think apparently when she first signed with us, I know there was a lot of rumblings going on. WWE was really interested in bringing her in. Here's the thing. You've seen Paige's Instagram videos where she's, you know, the famous backflip into the pool and stuff. You know how athletic she is. So if she can
Very
get somebody to work with her as far as figuring out how to do pro wrestling, she's got a good look to her. She's athletic. And if she's going to be, I don't know if she's going to be heel, face, what they're going to do with her, but I think she could do either one. I would like to see her as a heel, which is a bad person, if you don't know.
Bad person.
I would say bad guy, but bad girl.
Bad guy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of Razor Ramon when I said that. But I do think that I do think she's going to do very well in pro wrestling, and I wish her a lot of luck. And hey, that's only going to help Bare Knuckle, because I would think that that's how they're going to promote her from Bare Knuckle, and then more people are going to come start watching Bare Knuckle. So I think it's something like this. And Tony Khan is a guy who grew up watching ECW out of Philly. He's very unconventional.
Tony Khan.
So he
Never
does.
heard of him.
Tony Khan is the owner.
Okay.
Yeah. So they also.
All right, Tony Khan, you're a very smart man.
Yeah,
I love
he
what he's
models
doing
his
with
stuff after Paul Heyman.
I love what he's doing with the sport.
Yeah, you can see Paige up there now on AEW. I mean, she's definitely ready to go, and I think
Dude, she's gonna beat somebody up, man. Someone's gonna get hurt. She's no joke, man.
The weird
Say
thing
what
is,
you want about her,
but
she's
I
a
wonder
professional fighter.
Oh, that's what I mean. I wonder, coming from MMA and bare knuckle. Now, with pro wrestling, you have to learn to pull the punches a little bit. Is that going to be a hard thing for her? Is she going to be knocking people out? I'm going to tune in to watch. I'm just curious.
I have a question. You were a professional wrestler, right? And you guys take bumps. And have you ever heard of like someone getting? I guess is it retribution?
Yeah, it's called a shoot. Happens all the time. A receipt. If somebody hits me hard, I hit them hard later. It's understood.
Yeah.
Then there's shoot. Then there's
they
something
better
called
be very careful.
Yeah.
On
they upset her.
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean, it happens all the time. Actually, like I said, I'll be tuning to see if that does happen. Maybe I'll make fake accounts up so she can beat other wrestlers up when she goes in there. It'd be fun. We can kind of troll. But congratulations to Paige Van Zandt, and hopefully we'll have an announcement for a fight with her in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship soon. And like I said, I believe that AEW can only help our organization grow. So you're a fan, I'm a fan, Rob's a fan. So this is a very good thing for our organization to get more TV time from someone that has been with our organization. So congratulations to Paige Van Zandt. Looking forward to see what she does. Dan Lambert's been absolutely phenomenal as a bad guy. He's been incredible. So
speaking of announcements,
what do we have now?
Speaking of announcements,
do you have one?
I do have one.
Not on my format as normal. What do you have?
The Juggernaut. Who's he fighting next?
I got leaked.
Who leaked it? Did we find out who the leak was?
Who leaked it?
Can we find out?
Why don't you take a look at?
There is the leak.
The man
Did you guys time that?
Yeah, he walked right.
He's always in here watching.
You guys are at an all-time viewer low. You want to cut this show now?
Yeah, because he walked in the room. The ratings tanked.
Oh.
What happened? No, we know it got announced yesterday on another radio station, or actually on a radio station. We're not on it. We can say whatever we want.
That's right.
But I'm very excited for that fight. Anytime Lorenzo Hunt steps in the ring, defend his title, or even just steps in the ring, I can't wait to see what happens. Versus Joe Riggs, Diesel coming back.
Boom! There it is.
There it is, baby.
That's tough.
I'm looking forward to that fight, man. I really am.
Oh, I remember the hit. I'm sorry. So apparently there's all kinds of riffraff going around with Palomino, Brito. You know, Palomino's going after Hunt, saying that he should be fighting Gustavo.
It's a big mess. Everyone's going at each other.
Gustavo.
Gustavo.
I'm terrible with names, man.
I am too. I am too, Bob.
I got a lisp. Cut me some slack. I was a child of divorce. Help me out, folks.
Oh, come on, latchkey child over there. So here's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of
Is this not a great
drama
I like
going
this
on.
fight. Do you
can't
think
wait.
he should be fighting someone else?
I'm looking forward to this fight. The thing is, it's almost a problem.
It's a good fight to make.
But it's a good problem to have. People want to see so many different fights with our fighters, including a guy like Lorenzo, that there's going to be arguments from not even just from the fans. The fighters are now getting involved. That's how intense it is. So I understand why that's happening, but I want to see this fight. I want to see what happens. I mean, Lorenzo Hunt is very outspoken and how talented he is, and he was outspoken.
He's turning into this. Not only is he a very excellent fighter, he's being a cerebral fighter
too.
Very well. And he took Hector Lombard before they even fought into deep waters. You know, he's getting very, very good with the cerebral game.
Well, I mean, it could be argued the Hector versus Riggs fight where Lorenzo jumped into the ring. It could be argued that Riggs was doing very well in that fight and that Hector needed a little bit of help. Like, I know we talked about it before where he was grabbing the trunks, grabbing the shorts, but now it's going to be interesting to see that Lorenzo now has a win over Hector. Is he going to be able to get the win over Riggs as well? I mean, that's what I'm interested to see because that's where all this Lorenzo craziness started during the fight between Riggs and Hector. So does
anything short of a stoppage, this is going to be one of the best BKFC fights of all time.
You're calling it.
Riggs does not stop coming forward. Hunt is going to be throwing bombs.
Dude.
Look for him to start the cerebral games like now.
Well, it's a light heavyweight too, right?
Yeah.
So they're coming in at 85.
That's
Man.
So they're going to be
Wow.
shredded.
Yeah,
they're gonna be shredded, ripped,
wow.
chiseled,
Quicker,
jacked.
stronger. Let's go, baby.
So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because I'll tell you what, Joe Riggs, last time again with Hector, I'm ready to see him fight again. I was ready immediately after that.
Listen, I don't know what Joe Riggs' training regimen is, but this guy, every fight, he brings it. He just keeps getting better after every BKFC fight. And you would think it'd be the opposite. This many fights, you're going to see, father time. Not at all. Not with this guy. And this is going to be an exciting fight for sure.
I'm excited for it, too. I think the future, like I said, here in BKFC, we say it every week, is bright. I think we have so many great matches coming up. More cards coming. BKFC.com. If you didn't grab the app yet, what are you doing? $4.99 a month, the best value in combat sports. I work here, and I even pay for it. They don't give me a free app. They don't. I do. I pay, and I proudly pay for it. So all the April events coming up that you'll get on BKFC.com if you grab the app, they're all up there on screen. I'm looking forward to the Executioner too. Beltran Tate. I shook Tate's hand before, and Tate has these like catcher's mitt hands where I can't imagine getting hit by any of them. But if somebody's going to get hit, it's going to be Joey. Joey's going to keep coming. Joey's not going to stop. We've seen him before. I'm excited for that fight as well. Here's the entire upcoming BKTV schedule. If you want to peruse it, check it out. It's all up there. A lot going on. Plus, from all the fights, we have that, but then we also have the content. We have the interviews. We have the Ungloved series. It's all up there.
Brand new app.
And the brand new app that we're talking about. BKFC.com, $4.99 a month. Get in on that if you haven't. Best value in combat sports. I think it sounds good. It is. It truly is. Why you want to go pay 80 or 90 or whatever to watch another type of fight? We can watch.
Paying more for a gallon of gas.
That's great. That is very true. That's a great.
Right?
I actually got excited for $4.13 a gallon earlier today.
An app lasts longer. You get 30 days. You go find me a gallon of gas that lasts you more than.
That is true. That's a great way to sell it. No wonder you're a marketing guy, Rob. I dig that.
I just work here, man.
Well, listen, we're excited about what's to come, and I think it was a great show today. Thank you for our guests that came on. Caveman, always wonderful. Connor Tierney, I can't wait to see where his career is going to go in BKFC. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today and every Thursday. We appreciate you. Don't forget, again, BKFC.com. Grab that app. My shill. You think I'm getting paid for the app subscriptions. I'm not. I want you to experience it. Till next week, we say cheers, knuckle up. Wait for Razor Ramon. Done.
Like, comment, subscribe.